right, folks, we're here with Mike Barron.
Good morning. Cautionary is about to start a crowdfunder for my comic Florida Man. Here's a copy of the cover. It's not as good as the cover itself. Art by Todd Mulrooney. There are 5 issues. It is the greatest comic ever made. After I outlined the 5 issues, I realized, well, there's nothing to stop me from going ahead and turning this into a novel, so I did. And now I'd like to read a chapter from the novel. Back at the resort, Gary and Crystal continued to snort coke and drink until Gary decided to catch and grill his own iguana. How hard could it be? Everybody was doing it, and the iguanas were everywhere. They would be easy to catch in the morning before it got too hot. But where would he find them? Fingering a monster doobie, Crystal inhaled on the bed, crossed her legs Indian style, placed her palms together and said, "I will pray to the goddess Gaia to guide you in your search for the iguana." Gary gave her a thumbs up. "Sounds good." She passed Gary the doobie. "This ganja is so much better than what we get in Miami." "Yeah, I don't like to buy that Mexican shit. They lace it with paraquat and fuck knows what all. I sure would like to take an ounce of this shit back with us. Maybe you could hide it in your vagina." Crystal held up with a package of rolling papers. "Look at this package of zigzags. Jesus smoking a joint. If that ain't proof God intended us to get high, I don't know what is. This is sure as shit God's own reefer." He didn't wake from his Valium-induced sleep until noon Friday, but quickly brought himself up to speed with rum and blow. Looking out onto their private patio, he spotted the fat yellow lizard sunning itself on the stucco wall. A seasoned gator hunter, Gary left their unit by the front door and crept around the house, keeping to the meticulously tended shrubbery until he lurked 5 feet from the animal, armed with a stout club. As Toots and the Maytails drifted up from the beach, Gary exploded from the bushes, ran forward, and clubbed the lizard across the head, killing it in one blow. What a beaut! Had to weigh 5 pounds. Holding the dead lizard by the tail, Gary entered through the open patio door and tossed the beast in Crystal's lap, where she sat Indian style, texting and scrolling. "Eek! Skin it! We're having iguana for dinner." Crystal picked it up by the tail, twirled it around her head, and released it. With reflexes born of too much coke, Gary caught it in his left hand with the sound of a baseball bat hitting a ball. "Fuck you, Charlie Brown. You caught it, you skin it. You're about plumb worthless, you know that. Oh yeah, you tell me that the next time you want some pussy. Well, why don't you just go off with Mario the Cabana Boy? I seen you making eyes at him. Is that what you think of me, that I'd go to bed with a Jamaican?" Gary rethought his position. "Look here, if I prepare it, will you eat it? Is that all you're going to serve, just the iguana, no jerk sauce or salad? Look here, I caught it, I'll skin it, and I'll cook it. But you got to bring some to the party. Why don't you take your sweet ass over to one of those restaurants and get us a big platter of greens, salad, rice and beans, jerk sauce, you know the drill." When Gary returned to the cabana, Crystal had procured the salads, side dishes, and 2 bottles of Ron Rico. Gary set to work on the patio, gutting and cleaning the iguana, leaving the head intact as he'd been taught by his father. You want to leave the head on the fish, so you know what you're eating. Soon the not-so-heavenly aroma, fish-like in fact, of grilling iguana wafted through the cabanas. Crystal set the patio table with silverware borrowed from the resort, and they sat down to eat. They had hardly taken their first bite when there was a knock on the door. Gary found assistant manager Leotis Harrison waiting politely, wearing crisp white trousers and a blue blazer with gold buttons, the Sandals logo emblazoned on his chest. "Yes, Mr. Duba, I am very sorry to bother you, but we are receiving complaints that you are cooking. Perhaps you did not read all the rules, but it is forbidden for you to cook in the patio. That is why we have provided 8 restaurants. "I'm sorry about that, Mr. Harrison. We won't do it again. I just wanted to sample some of the local game in my own way. I'm a hunter and fisher from way back. When I was growing up, half what we ate came out the swamp. What is it you're cooking, if I may ask? The local markets can be unreliable when it comes to hygiene. Come on back, try it for yourself." Gary held the doors. Harrison walked through the airy living room and out the open patio door to where Crystal stood to greet him. "Hi, you want some rum and a lime?" Harrison froze at the edge of the patio and stared at the room service platter which occupied the center of the table. "Dear God," he said, Yep, that's one prime iguana. Tastes just like chicken. Harrison took a step toward the table. Dear God, that is a Jamaican iguana. They are on the endangered species list. Only 300 are believed to exist. No shit. Well, I guess they're down to 299 now. Mr. Duba, this is very serious. We at Sandals are committed to the Jamaican ecosystem and preserving our biosphere. I must ask you to stop cooking right now. Do not take another bite. I'm afraid there will be very serious repercussions. Wait here. The manager will be in touch with you shortly. An hour later, they were ordered to pack their bags and leave, the first couple ever evicted from Sandals.
All right. When is this novel coming out?
Oh, I don't know about the novel, but the Kickstarter starts May 1st. There are 5 issues. I'm not finished with the novel yet. I'm about a third of the way through. But for those who back the Kickstarter, they'll be getting chapters from the novel. The novel is not the comic book. I mean, the comic book, you're going to love the comic book because of the density of the storytelling and the depth of the characterization. But a novel is so much more because you can add so much to the narrative. I'm sure that the novel won't be out until next year, but Florida Man will be out this year.
All right. Thanks. And check Mike Barron's books and comic books on Amazon. Thanks for watching.